Halloween H20 wasn't just another 90s slasher sequel, it was a resurrection. Laurie Strode's trauma colliding with studio greed in 2 decades of silence. By 1998, horror had gone slick and self-aware. Scream ruled theaters. VHS shelves overflowed with masked killers, and everyone wanted the next big comeback. Then Jamie Lee Curtis returned, not for fame, but for closure. But behind the scenes, everything fell apart. John Carpenter's return collapsed over money, producers banned Michael Myers from dying, and the film's ending was rewritten in secret. These are 10 creepiest facts about Halloween H20 20 years later. And buried in its lost drafts was a version where Michael Myers had a son. Number 1. The director who walked away. John Carpenter, the man who created Halloween, almost came back to direct H20. Jamie Lee Curtis personally reached out, hoping to reunite the original team and finally close Laurie Strode's story. Carpenter was interested, but he wanted what he felt he was owed: $10 million and a 3-movie deal as payback for being underpaid on the first film. The studio, Dimension Films, refused. Overnight, the reunion fell apart. Carpenter walked away, and the project lost its original creative heart. The studio then hired Steve Miner, the same man who once directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3. One horror legend quietly replaced another. Number 2. The real reason Jamie Lee Curtis returned. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't return for money or nostalgia. H20 was her idea from the start. She wanted to give Laurie Strode a real ending. Her vision was powerful. Laurie, no longer a scared teenager, would finally face her brother and stop his evil, even if it meant sacrificing herself. It was meant as both a thank you to fans and a farewell to the character that made her famous. But once production began, Hollywood politics took over. Scripts were rewritten. The tone shifted, and Curtis's personal vision disappeared under studio control. Years later, she admitted honestly, "It started with the best intentions, but I did it for the paycheck." Number 3. The mask disaster. If Michael Myers looks different from scene to scene in H20, you're not imagining it. The movie actually used 4 different masks, including one that was CGI. At first, director Steve Miner liked a pale blank mask nicknamed Casper. But the Weinstein brothers, who produced the film, hated it and secretly ordered a new version without telling him. While waiting, the crew kept filming using an old Halloween 6 mask. That one didn't work either, so the studio called in the legendary Stan Winston team to design yet another version. By then, it was too late to reshoot everything, so they did something desperate. They digitally pasted a CGI mask onto Michael's face in a few scenes. The result: Michael's appearance changes constantly, sometimes wide-eyed, sometimes ghostly white, sometimes just wrong. H20 became the most inconsistent-looking Halloween movie ever made, and evil has never looked so confused. Number 4. The contract that cheated death. Behind the scenes of H20 was one of the strangest movie rules ever. Michael Myers legally couldn't die. Producer Mustafa Akkad had a clause in his contract that banned the writers from killing Michael for good. No matter how many sequels, he always had to come back. When Jamie Lee Curtis found out, she was furious. Her entire reason for returning was to finally end Laurie's story and end Michael with her own hands. She even threatened to quit unless the ending stayed the way she wanted. Laurie cutting off Michael's head, so writer Kevin Williamson came up with a clever solution. In the final scene, Laurie does decapitate Michael, but it's not him. Michael had secretly switched clothes with a paramedic, tricking everyone, even Laurie herself. It was the perfect loophole. The studio got to keep Michael alive, the contract stayed safe, and audiences walked out thinking evil was finally gone forever. Number 5. The secret ending they hid for years. That shocking twist, where Laurie kills the wrong man, wasn't created for Halloween Resurrection. It was actually filmed during H20 but kept a secret. In that scene, Michael swaps clothes with a knocked-out paramedic just before Laurie cuts off his head. Jamie Lee Curtis fought hard to keep the twist hidden, insisting that no clue appear in the final movie. She wanted fans to believe Laurie had finally killed her brother once and for all. For 4 years, that footage sat locked away unseen by anyone, until the sequel revealed the truth. Laurie hadn't killed Michael at all. What was meant to be the perfect ending became one of horror's most divisive reveals, proving that no matter how many times you kill Michael Myers, the studio will always find a way to bring him back. Number 6. The lost script that almost happened. Before Jamie Lee Curtis came on board, H20 wasn't supposed to be a big theatrical comeback. It started as a cheap direct-to-video sequel called Halloween 2: Faces of Evil. It had nothing to do with Laurie Strode. It was about Michael Myers attacking a girls' boarding school while a copycat killer helped police hunt him down. Everything changed when Curtis decided to return. Producer Bob Weinstein immediately ordered a total rewrite. Writer Robert Zappia was told to keep the school setting, but build a whole new story around Laurie, her son, and the trauma she'd carried for 20 years. Overnight, a small side project turned into a massive anniversary movie, rushed, rewritten, and forced to feel epic before it was even ready to film. Number 7. The Forgotten Son of Michael Myers. Early drafts of H20 included a storyline so dark the studio shut it down just weeks before filming. In that version, one of the students, a quiet kid named Charlie, was secretly Michael Myers' biological son. The script revealed he was born from an assault that happened years earlier in the asylum. Charlie was supposed to become a copycat killer inside the school, recreating his father's crimes until the real Michael showed up to finish him off in the finale. It was twisted, disturbing, and way ahead of its time, almost like a Friday the 13th Part 5 style nightmare about evil running in the family. But Dimension Films panicked. They thought the idea was too dark and too controversial, so they erased it completely. Number 8. The Psycho cameo that shocked everyone. One of the coolest Easter eggs in H20 is something most fans don't realize at first. Jamie Lee Curtis shared the screen with her real-life mother, Janet Leigh, the legendary star of Psycho. Lee played Norma, Laurie's secretary, and her short scene is full of hidden details. She drives the exact same 1957 Ford her Psycho character Marion Crane drove, and you can even hear a faint echo of the film's classic score in the background. At one point she says, "I'd like to give you some motherly advice," a clever wink at their real relationship. For a brief moment, two generations of scream queens, the mother from the shower scene and the daughter who faced the knife in the closet, stood side by side. Number 9. The movie that ate itself. H20 didn't just bring back Halloween, it brought the entire slasher world with it. The movie is packed with clever horror Easter eggs that blur the line between franchises. In the opening, a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt wears a hockey mask, an obvious nod to Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Later, two students watch Scream 2 on TV, which is a fun twist because the stuntman who played Michael Myers in H20 also wore the Ghostface costume in Scream. Even Laurie's line telling her students to go to the Becker house connects back to Casey Becker, the first victim in Scream, which itself quoted Laurie's line from the original Halloween. Number 10. The soundtrack that didn't fit. The chaos behind H20 didn't stop with the editing. It hit the music too. Composer John Ottman originally created a rich orchestral score that mixed Hitchcock-style suspense with the classic Halloween theme. It sounded elegant, eerie, and perfect for Laurie's emotional story, but just weeks before release, the producers panicked. They said it didn't sound slasher enough and tore it apart. Most of Ottman's music was replaced with leftover tracks from Marco Beltrami's Scream and Mimic, even lifting entire pieces straight from those movies. The result was a soundtrack that kept changing moods. Sad one moment, intense the next, then suddenly goofy. It made H20 the only Halloween movie that sounds like 3 different films playing at once. Haunting, chaotic, and completely out of sync with itself. Despite the chaos, Halloween H20 resurrected a dying franchise and brought Laurie Strode back for a generation that had never seen her scream. It was messy, rushed, and compromised, but it gave fans a taste of closure and reminded the world why Michael Myers still haunts our screens. Beneath all the rewrites and hidden endings, H20 remains a time capsule of late 90s horror, glossy, self-aware, and haunted by its own legacy. Because in Halloween, evil never truly dies, it just waits for the next rewrite. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden truths, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the creepiest corners of classic horror.